What is happening, you wonderful people? I hope y'all are having a happy Easter, and April has almost flown by. It is crazy. We are already in May almost, and in April, I saw 7 movies, so we're going to rank them from worst to best. Let's talk about it. And coming in at number 7 is On Swift Horses. This releases this week coming up. I actually saw this film at South by Southwest in March, and I gotta say, had no expectations for this film. Didn't have any expectations. And it's one of those films that I feel like it's kind of a niche film, but at the same time, even though I feel like it's kind of niche, a lot of people are going to find it, and a lot of people are going to be looking at movies to go see, and they're going to be like, oh, this seems interesting, and they're going to go watch it. So it's not going to make a lot of money. It's not going to make $1 billion, I'll tell you that. But it's one of those things where if they would have not shown it at South by Southwest, I would not be going to see it. I would not have watched it. You know what I mean? And it's a movie that I actually found enjoyable for the most part. I actually found some enjoyment out of, and it's one of those films where I was surprised by how much I actually enjoyed it. Now, I didn't fully love the film. I thought it was good to okay. It was okay to good. And the thing with this film is that it's beautifully shot. It's a beautifully shot film. Like when you're watching the film, you see the backdrop of the 1960s, I believe, and you're watching, you're like, man, this actually feels like the 1960s. I love the clothes that the people are wearing. I love the vehicles. I love the vehicles that they're driving, and I love the aesthetic and the overall just vibe of the 60s in this world and in this movie that we're introduced to, that we're given. And I love that along with it being beautifully shot, the cinematography is phenomenal. I love the cinematography, and this one's very captivating. It's very elegant, and the thing is, the acting is phenomenal. Like, I would not be shocked if this film, if one of the actors in this film gets nominated for something. Will Poulter, Jacob Elordi, Daisy Edgar Jones, Sasha Cal. I would not be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. And there's some good humor. It's fun at times, you know what I mean? And it doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't really overstay its welcome that much. And it's better than I was expecting. But the problem with this film, the problems I have that I caught when I was watching the movie, is that I didn't find myself interested in what the story had to offer. Like, I was watching the film, and I'm just like, I don't really care what's going on, even though the acting's phenomenal and it's shot well and the cinematography is great and the music's great. I didn't find myself really interested fully in what was going on, and the story felt confusing and kind of convoluted at times, and it drags at times, and I didn't really feel interested in the characters. I didn't care what happened to them. I didn't care what happened to this character, what happened to that character. So overall, there's some positives I have for the film, and there's some negatives, and it just ends up being okay to good. And coming in at number 6 is a film that I had no expectations for, but then a film I had expectations for, and then this film disappointed me. Drop. Now, I saw Drop. It actually released a couple weeks ago, and I actually saw this one at South by Southwest as well. This was my most anticipated movie of South by Southwest. I was so excited to see this film, and majority of people are liking Drop. They are. I feel like I'm kind of the only one who's just kind of mixed on it. You know what I mean? And I just found it to be not horrible, not irritating, but just okay. It just felt very bland and dull. But I do have to say, for this film, I could see the potential. I could definitely see the potential in this film. It was right there. It was in my grasp, like in like plain sight right here. I could see the potential. And it has a great score. It has like this eerie score that I really dug. I thought it was cool. And it's directed well. I thought it was directed well. I like the aesthetic. I love the atmosphere that's built into this world and into the story that we're given and the one we see. And Megan Feige, or however you say her last name, I'm sorry if I butchered that. She was great. She was great. And this is my first movie I've seen with her in it. And she stole the show. She was great. I really enjoyed her presence. I really enjoyed her just overall character. I really did. And Brandon Skelnar, he was great too. He was great too. I mean, I feel like they could have given him a little bit more to do, but he was kind of a prominent character as well in the film. And I thought he was great. And that's about it for the positives, because in this film, it just feels very dull and bland. Besides the score being great, and besides me seeing the potential, besides it being directed, and our leads are actually fun to watch on screen together. Their chemistry and dynamic. The film, while again not horrible, while just being okay at best, it just falls flat. The story just falls flat, and it just the plot feels very dull and bland and very paint by numbers and run of the mill. You've seen it a million times, and the thing with the film having that potential that you see the potential that I saw, this is a really cool concept. This is a concept that, while at times it felt very paint by numbers and dull, this is a cool concept, man. You have them going on a date, and she gets airdrops, and the person sending her the airdrop says, if you do this, blank, 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 if you do this, this will happen. I'm just like, I love that concept. This concept is really intriguing and cool, but the problem is that it's just a major twist that we're given at the end. It just felt very lame and bland, and it just I didn't feel a sense of stakes or a sense of tension or a sense of suspense. I didn't feel it wasn't suspenseful in my eyes. I didn't feel tense. I didn't at all, and it was okay. It was just okay. And number five, a Minecraft movie. Now, look, I am someone who grew up playing Minecraft. I did, and I know years ago, I think they were talking about doing a Minecraft movie. I'll say, okay, that could be fun. That could be fun. And it's one of those things where I just, it's okay. It's an okay film. It's fine. You know, and when I saw the trailers, when they released the trailers for this film, I was like, this looks terrible. It looks absolutely awful. And I'm still going to go see it because I might really like it. It might just be okay, or it might end up being a train wreck like I thought it would be. And I got to say, it's not a train wreck like I thought it would be. It's not. But again, it's just okay. It's okay. The film has some good humor. It does have some good humor. And when it's funny, it's definitely funny. Like there are times where I was watching it and I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of gold. That's actually kind of funny. But there are also other times where I'm just like a little awkward. Am I the only one not laughing at that? Like it's just man, you know. And one thing that I was actually really surprised about in the film that shocked me, it's directed well. Besides some green screen moments, you know, when you're watching the film, you'll notice sometimes where it looks very green screeny. But besides that, it actually was directed really well. I thought some of the VFX for the mobs or the animals, whatever you call them, were actually not bad. Not bad. And the camera angles and the way the camera would move, the editing and how shots were edited to the and transitioned to the next shot and how it's transitioned to this shot. I thought that was well done. I thought that was well done. And everyone in here had a great time filming this, including Jack Black. Like you could tell that they just had a blast watching this, making this film. You could just tell that they were having so much fun, and that made me happy. That made me happy. I was glad to see that watching the film. You could tell when you watch the film, you will be able to tell. And I think with the film, it's fun at times. It's fun at times, but a problem with this film is that it is a huge mess. It is an absolute huge mess. It just feels very random. It feels very random, and it overstays its welcome. The characters and story are bland. They are, and it takes itself way too seriously, way too seriously, and it just sometimes it's silly, and then sometimes it's serious, and it goes back and forth between each other. And I'm just like, we need to pick a tone here. So the problem with this film is it can't find its tone. Tonally, it is all over the place, and it's messy, and there's no substance. There's a subplot in here that makes no sense with Jennifer Coolidge and a villager that should have not been in there at all. And it just overall feels very hollow and dull, and it just honestly stupid. It's honestly stupid. And it's one of those things where it just doesn't tonally doesn't know what to be, or totally doesn't know what it wants to be, you know. And it takes itself way too seriously. And while it takes itself way too seriously, I'm just watching and I'm like, they are really trying so hard to make this a serious film at times, even though there's times where it's silly, you know. It's mainly a silly film. I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't get it. And number four is The Amateur. Now, I'm kind of confused because, like, you know, this doesn't always mean this at all. It always means different things, you know what I mean? But they were showing early screenings for this film. So I was like, oh, okay, they're showing early screenings, so that means it's really good. And then I saw it and I actually really enjoyed it. It's good. But a lot of people are saying they didn't like it, which again, film subjective. Again, people have their own opinions, but I actually enjoyed it. Now, I'm not going to say I absolutely love the film, like I'm going crazy about it. I'm not. It's not a film I've been talking about ever since I've seen it. I haven't talked about it that much with people. But I gotta say, it's one of the one of my biggest surprises of the year. Like it won't end up being in my top 10 films of the year, which is there right now, but it won't stay in my top 10 films. It won't. Like it's in there right now, but it won't stay. And it Rami Malek is so good, dude. Rami Malek plays such a good performance in this film. He gives us such a good performance in this film, and that's expected, you know. And I got to give it up. While they're not in it much, Lawrence Fishburne and John Bernthal are so fun in this film. Now, Lawrence Fishburne has a prominent role in the film, but at the same time, he's not in it much. And John Bernthal is only in it for like 2 scenes. He's not in it for long, so they were both great for what they were given in the time they had. I thought they were great. And it's really about guilt and love and loss and revenge and even uh, memories, you know. And I thought Rachel Brosnahan was great in it too. And I love the way that it's directed. I love the aesthetic that is built into this universe and into this world that we're seeing and given. And I love the atmosphere, and it gives it a sense of eeriness, and it has like just a cool vibe overall. I love that about it. And my issue with the film, though, is that while it's not heavy on action, there are some good action scenes. There's about one or two good action scenes, maybe just one scene involving a gas chamber type sorts in a doctor's office, which is really cool. I really like that scene. Um, and I thought while we didn't get much action, um, it's one of those films where you're not supposed to have much action. You're supposed to have your main character, Rami Malek, has like his smarts. He uses his intellect instead of action, which is a cool premise, a cool concept, let alone. So while I wish there was more action, there wasn't, and it does overstay its welcome. It does a little bit. And it's a somewhat generic plot. It's a B plus action film that you've seen before. People were comparing it to Jason Bourne, which I've actually never seen the Jason Bourne films. I will watch them eventually, I promise. But while having not seen those films, I've seen clips obviously, and I know what it is. I could kind of see the correlation. You know what I mean? And it is a B plus action film. It is, and it goes on for way too long. That's my main issue with the film is that it goes on for way too long. It overstays its welcome, and at times I just really wanted it to end because I'm just like I feel like it's not getting anywhere. I feel like it's getting sidetracked. I feel like it's just not. Story doesn't know what it wants to be. The story isn't going where it should go. And overall, it's a fun film. I actually really enjoyed it, but it is way too long. Coming in at number 3 is another film I saw at South by Southwest that is releasing this week as well, The Accountant 2. I was very excited to see this film, and I am someone who actually watched The First Accountant for the first time a couple months ago, and I liked it. I didn't fully love it, but I enjoyed it. And this one, they upped the ante. This film is a step up above the first one. It is so fun. It plays great with the crowd, and it they lean a little too into the comedy in this one. And I'm not gonna lie, some of the humor didn't land. They lean a little too into it, but at times the humor does land. When it's funny at times. And it's just a buddy cop film. It's a buddy cop film, and it's just so fun seeing John Bernthal and Ben Affleck's chemistry and dynamic on screen. Their banter, their arguments. It's so fun to see them on screen. They work so well together, and the action's great. There's a third act final battle that is so good, and it's fun overall, man. The movie's fun overall. I got a kick out of it. The crowd I was with got a kick out of it. It plays great with the crowd. It played great with everybody, man. It's so fun, and the buddy cop aspect works. It does, and the dialogue is actually sharp. I actually thought the dialogue was pretty smart and sharp for what it was, and the acting's good. I thought the acting was actually decent. I thought it was good. And the thing with this film, though, is that the comedy made the tone kind of inconsistent at times. It did. So you're sitting there and you're like, it kind of feels tonally all over the place in a way. Not fully, but for some of the movie. You know what I mean? Tonally feels kind of all over the place. And the story wasn't super strong, but that's the thing. You don't go to these films to see the story. You want a good story, obviously, as a film buff and a movie lover. You want a good story, but sometimes it's okay to sit down and just enjoy these turn your brain off buddy cop action insane films, and that's what this is, you know. And you've seen the story before, and they lean a little bit into the comedy, they do, but overall, besides the negatives, the positives outweigh the negatives for me, and I enjoyed it. And coming in at number two is Sinners. Oh my gosh, this film, dude, I'm telling you, this film is so good. It's so good. This film made me feel different types of things. It did. And this film has so many things in this film that is for everyone, and I am not playing. This film, this film, uh, is just, it felt very real. It's suspenseful and entertaining. It breathes well. It takes its time. It's just the backdrop of the 1930s is so good. It is so good, and it's just the dialogue is sharp and smart. In this cinema at its best, man, it is, and I love the aesthetic and how visually appealing and striking it is, and it's actually funny at times. It actually is, and all of the cast members are great in here, including Haley Steinfeld. She's great, but Michael B. Jordan is so good. He does such a good job of playing this dual role, and you actually find Smoke and Stack um, at interesting characters. They're great characters, man, and you want to know more about them. You want to learn more about them, you know. And it's very gory, it's violent, it's action packed, and it's sexy. I will say that it is. And right now, it's in my top 10 films of the year. I don't know if it'll stay in my top 10 films of the year, like at the end of the year. I hope it does, and there's a very good chance that it will, you know. And it's just the sound design is brilliant, and the score is brilliant. And the thing with this film is that you have to see it in IMAX and Dolby. You don't go see it in standard at all, standard premium versions or whatever. Go see it in IMAX, because the cool thing about this film is that I love the world building in this film. I love the characters. I love the story. I love the visual aesthetic of it. But the aspect ratio changes, and you feel like you're there. You feel like when it changes from the rectangle to the, you know, the whole screen, you feel like you're thrown in there. So you feel like you're there, and it's just so fun. But with the positives, I do have a few negatives for this film, and it's not very many. They're very small. I do feel like it started off a little slow. It started off a little slow, and there are some pacing issues, and you can feel at times it drags a little bit. And it does take a little bit to get going, but when it goes, oh, it goes, and it doesn't stop. It's like a freight train. Like a freight train does not stop at all, you know. And it's just, I love the story. I thought the story was great. I love how you have this Michael B. Jordan and his two characters, and Haley Steinfeld and all those characters, and you have the story of them with the blues and all that. And then you have the other story with the vampires. That vampire story comes in, and it's like a nice, neat bow that's wrapped up nice. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool. But at times it was a little confusing and convoluted, because at times I wasn't sure how both of those correlated. But then there's a twist that happens at the end, which is great. And when that awesome twist happens, it makes more sense. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, you know. And I do feel like the CGI and the vampires was a little off at times. Not fully. It's not something that took me out of the film. I didn't care. I didn't care about the CGI. I was just so locked in, you know. Sinners, it's good. And number one, my favorite film of April is Warfare. Now, I had no expectations for this film, but again, I heard good things about it. So I was like, okay, might enjoy it. I'm going to go watch it. And it's so good. It is so good. Alex Garland can do no wrong. He cannot do no wrong. You know, he did Civil War last year, which is arguably, in my opinion, one of the greatest movie experiences, one of the greatest, in my opinion, movies of all time. And I know a lot of people weren't a big fan of that, you know. I know majority of people did enjoy it, though, as well. And so I had no expectation for Civil War. But I went to go see it last year and absolutely freaking loved it. And Alex Garland is a freaking genius director. And Warfare, this film, it is it's so good. It is my favorite war film is Fury. Now it is my second favorite war film. This movie is my favorite war film. This movie right here. Now, It is in my top 10 films of the year right now as well. I don't know if it'll stay in my top 10 films of the year at the end of the year. I hope it does, and there's a very likely chance that it will. The thing with this film is that it's based on true events. It takes place in 2006 in Iraq. And one of the soldiers that was there in the real events that happened, Ray Mendoza, someone plays his Ray Mendoza in the film, but the real Ray Mendoza in real life, he helped co-write and co-direct this film as well, which is really cool. And it's one of those war films that stays in one spot, and it feels like a very like close quarters pressure cooker film that is so suspenseful and so tense, and you feel for these characters, and you feel the intensity and the grit and the rawness of it, and you feel how closed in they are, and you feel closed in. And I personally, sadly, did not see this film in IMAX and Dolby, but that's where kind of what my negatives comes in. I'll talk about it later. I'll touch on it in a minute. But you have to see it in IMAX and Dolby. You have to, because the sound design is so elegant and so booming. It is so amazing and so just it'll give you chills. And there's no score in this film, I don't think, which makes it even more insane and more eerie. You know what I mean? And the acting is so great. Will Poulter is great. Joseph Quinn is great. Everybody in here is great. And the dialogue is sharp and smart. It's great. And with my negatives for the film, again, I only have a few. I don't have very many, but you have to see this film in IMAX and Dolby. While I still really enjoyed the film and it's great, I really wish I would have seen it in IMAX and Dolby because the sound design is great. And I feel like if I would, I gave this film a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So I gave it a great rating. But I feel like if I would have seen it in IMAX and Dolby, I would have given it a 5 out of 5 because this is a movie you have to experience in IMAX and Dolby. You have to experience in IMAX and Dolby. You have to. There's no other way. There's no other option, you know? And it's just one of those things where I feel like at times I was like sucked in. You know what I mean? I feel like I was like there, but at times I feel like I wasn't because I didn't see it in what it was made for. You know what I mean? So overall, it's a great film, but you have to see it in IMAX and Dolby to really get that full experience and be there. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share on this video. We are at 858 subs. Next big milestone is 900. We're reaching that quickly. And the big one is 1K. Beyond that as well. If you're new as well, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, movie news, movie rankings, all that wonderful movie stuff under the movie umbrella. And let's talk about it down below in the comments down below. What is y'all's favorite movie of April? Is it Drop? Is The Accountant 2? Is it The Amateur? Is it Sinners? Let's talk about it down below. Keep talking movies, wonderful people. Happy Easter. Cheers.